Can the Mavericks change the vibes at the AAC tonight as they welcome in Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks? We'll get you ready for tonight's game. Coming up next on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Welcome into the DLLS Mavs pregame show powered by Michelob Ultra. Cheer on your team with Michelob Ultra at 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. This is superior smooth taste worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, official beer sponsor of the NBA. Kevin Gray alongside our DLLS Mavs analyst Bobby Krella. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys cover your favorite team, even when they welcome in Giannis and the Bucks tonight at the AAC. We'll get you ready for tonight's game over the course of the next half hour. Let you know who's in, who's out. We'll focus in on our Mavericks player spotlight and get you tonight's X Factors. Plus, we'll be joined by our DLLS Mavs beat writer, Ron Harrod Jr., live from the American Airlines Center on this magnificent Monday, as my daughter dubbed it, on the way to school this morning. Bobby Karella, how we feeling?
Feeling kind of weird, Kevin. I'm not going to lie.
Understood.
Today was a very busy day here at the DLS Sports Studio for a lot of good reasons. Tonight, I feel like, though, is a very anxious night in Mavs land. I have no idea what the vibes are going to be like in that building. We got Ron and we got Stein on the scene. We got Abby Jones in the building, too. You're going to be over there, too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it is going to be pretty weird. Patrick DeMont's in the building. Rumors are swirling. I feel like swirling is probably even an understatement at this point. Feels like we're on the brink of things changing, and you know, I don't know. It's just weird. It's very angsty.
It is. Over the last near 24 hours, the temperature has been turned up quite a bit here in Dallas when it comes to the Mavericks and what is surrounding this team. And even after getting the win on Saturday night against the Washington Wizards, Blue Tortoise Sports, I'll see your super chat. I'll get to you here in just a second, because the Mavericks are facing a Bucks team coming off of a loss last night on the second night of a back-to-back. But more importantly for them, they've got to find a way to start turning the vibe around. Coming in at 3-7 tonight. Game time will be at 7:30 p.m. at the American Airlines Center. If you're going to be watching on TV, it will be on KFAA Channel 29, with the Bucks coming in at 6-4, 2-2, away from Milwaukee this year. Of course, your Mavericks 3-7 so far on the year, 2-4 at the AAC. Bucks came into tonight's game a 2.5-point favorite, with the over-under at 229.5 for those who need to know. These two teams off to a decent start for the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously for the Mavericks, 14th in the West right now, 3-7 to start off on the year. Coming off that win on Saturday night against the Washington Wizards, snapping what was a 4-game losing streak for them. 3-2 this year so far against the Eastern Conference. We know they haven't won a game yet against the West, so maybe that's a vibe that they could tap into, having a winning record so far against the Eastern Conference. But they begin another long homestand. Remember, 13 of their first 18 games this season are at the AAC. They begin another 4-game homestand tonight with the Milwaukee Bucks before they
pretty lucky. That must mean they're off to a good start, right?
Not quite. Not quite. Not at all. They'll continue that homestand on Wednesday when they welcome in Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns. Meanwhile, the Bucks 6-4 on the year, 6th in the Eastern Conference. They're coming off a loss last night against the Houston Rockets in Milwaukee, where they gave up a 22-7 run in the last 4 minutes of that game to drop that game for them. The Bucks, they're on the second night of a back-to-back before they get ready to continue what is a road trip for them on Wednesday, with Monday tonight here in Dallas and then on Wednesday in Charlotte to take on the Charlotte Hornets. They're 1-2 so far against the Western Conference this year. That gives you a little bit of the lay of the land for both of these teams coming into tonight's game, which gets us to the Karella's scouting report, the Karella Strader scouting reports, focusing in on a young player who's making quite an impact so far from Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'll talk about the basketball real quick, and then I think we need to go back to the vibes
for sure.
But the basketball. So the Bucks have this guy named Ryan Rollins. All right, you might have heard of him by now. If you're like a pretty serious basketball fan, you definitely know who he is. But coming into the season, I would forgive you if you didn't know who he is. He's a point guard. The most notable thing about him, in my opinion, until this season is that he went to high school just down the road from where my cousins grew up.
Oh, nice.
In Michigan, in a suburb of Detroit. So shout out to Dakota High School. But Ryan Rollins is filling in for the injured Kevin Porter Jr. at point guard. KPJ. Do they call him that?
No.
Okay.
It's fine.
Sorry. For shorthand, that guy got hurt in the season opener, and Rollins was thrust into the starting role, and dude, he has delivered in a big way, okay? In his last 7 games, he's averaging 19 points, 6 assists, 3 boards, a steal and a half per game, 2.5 turnovers, but still that's almost a 3-to-1 assist to turnover. He's shooting 57% from the floor, 54% from 3. Oh my God.
Yikes.
The dude is absolutely on fire. And he said in an interview recently, he was like, all I needed was an opportunity to show myself. And, I knew that I was this good all along. And of course, like, everyone's going to believe that he's really good. But like, that really does just go to show you that this league is all about opportunity. It's all about, it is all about you having a chance to get your moment, right? And luck is where preparation meets opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins has this chance to step into the starting lineup and play serious minutes. If he was ill-prepared, then the Bucks would probably be having a horrible season. Giannis would be the subject of trade rumors and all this stuff. Instead, the Bucks are 6-4, which is okay. It's whatever. It's not great, but it's not bad. And Giannis is in MVP talks. And maybe, Giannis said recently, he goes, I love Ryan Rollins. And so, maybe Giannis is in it for the long haul up there. Who knows? But, that's a guy that stepped up in a pressure cooker situation where you couldn't afford to fail, and he's delivered so far. Now, again, it's only been their 10 games into the year or whatever, so who knows? But if you're the Mavs, you have to key in on this guy. But you also have to key in on shout out to Detroit, but also shout out to Dallas, shout out to Ulyss Trinity, shout out to Miles Turner, who has had some of the best games of his entire career in this building. And so now all of a sudden, you got maybe the best player in the world in Giannis. You got a center who plays like Kareem against you, and you also have a point guard who's on a Yogi Mania kind of run right now. That's 3 guys that can beat you, whereas last year the Bucks really just had one guy that could beat you. They just had Giannis, and now all of a sudden, you got to plug holes all over the place on defense. So it's going to be really, really tough. But, I think from the Mavs perspective, stopping Ryan Rollins, game planning for Miles Turner, and contending with Giannis is going to be easier than what's going to happen off the floor tonight.
Yeah, because there's going to be quite a bit of noise probably inside of the American Airlines Center, which gets us to our lead story going into tonight's game. Of course, the Mavericks come home to begin a 4-game homestand with the heat having been turned up quite a bit over the weekend, despite the fact that the Mavericks got a win on Saturday night against the Washington Wizards. They're in battle GM Nico Harrison facing a team, leading a team, I should say, off to a 3-7 start, a 2-4 start at home, and more importantly, pressure continuing to mount that Harrison could be out of his job here in the very near future. Obviously, if you've seen our reporting from our very own Mark Stein detailing how the noise has been turned up within the front office and the concern level has been elevated quite a bit based off of what has been happening so far. And for this team, Bobby, the last 282 days since that trade happened on February 1st, there has been nothing but turmoil, angst, despair in a lot of ways, even with winning the #1 overall pick in drafting Cooper Flagg. This poor start has got this team and this franchise at a fork in the road, if you will, given the importance of tonight's game, but what the rest of the schedule starts to look like as you get closer to Christmas. The question being, how do the players focus in on the task at hand, knowing the kind of noise that's starting to surround them and this front office, because they're going to have a tough job to do over the next several weeks trying to block out what is happening with their potential general manager leaving.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you said off the top of the show they've played a bunch of games at home to start the season. I don't really think any of them have felt like home games, and I'm not blaming Mavs fans whenever I say this, but I don't think the Mavs have played a home game since January. It does not feel normal in that building. It does not feel good. It does not feel like fans are excited to be there. It feels like either fair weathers or casuals are having a good time, or maybe you just love the Mavs. You don't really care who plays for them, but like fans that really love this team are still in shambles, as they should be. They're still very upset, and the team stinks on top of that. They've trailed by double digits in almost every single game they've played this season, including, I believe, every game they've played at home except for What's the game? They actually beat the Raptors. They only trailed by 9 in that game. I think they didn't trail by double digits. Only 9, folks. So there's not a lot to be excited about right now. Tonight, I think, could be a really weird atmosphere. You know, the Bucks are good. They're probably going to be upset about what happened to them last night in Houston. They're probably going to come out to play. The Mavs, again, have one big going up against a team that has Giannis, who basically counts as like 12 players whenever he's out there. I have no idea what they're going to do defensively, and I have no idea what they're going to do offensively either. Again, I mean, this team is really, really struggling right now, and so if they get down early, like Patrick Dumont, like I said, is in the building. He hasn't been there since opening night. Reportedly, he knows the deal, you know, and so this is Mavs fans' chance to let him know what they think he should do, and to let the Mavs know what they think that they should do, and to let Nico know what they think about him. And it's just going to be really uncomfortable. Like, I feel for the players, dude. I feel for Nico. I feel for Patrick Dumont. But more importantly, more than anything else, I feel for the fans.
Yeah.
This situation sucks, and it's apparently going to come to an end soon. Who soon? How soon? Who knows? Questions abound. I just don't know. Who, what, when, where, what. I have no idea. How soon? Who knows? Honestly, the bigger the loss and the more embarrassing the defeats, probably the sooner it comes, which is kind of a weird sort of mental gymnastics to put yourself through right now.
Let's get to some of your super chats here on our pregame show. Blue Toter Sports with the $9.99 super chat. These past 24 hours have been insane with all the reports and whatnot. Can't wait until we are past all this stuff. Fire Nico. Yeah.
Just need it to end one way or the other, man.
From portable stairs to the front office being on high alert now, given the start of the season. Yeah, the last 24 hours have been kind of wild, to say the least. Lantern1172 with the $5 super chat. I truly think if we lose our next 4 at home, plus have Loudfire Nico Chance Dumont out of embarrassment, we'll take him out a week from now. Please, NBA gods. Now we're looking to the NBA gods now.
It might. I mean, I don't know if
now we're praying for the downfall from the NBA gods at this point. Goodness,
it might happen sooner than that, dude. I mean, I don't know. I think we're all kind of living in a world of thinking like
it's like we're just bracing
check my phone every 10 minutes.
Yes,
you know, like
yes.
It feels inevitable. McMahon has said it. Stein is reporting similar things.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Cato had an article on our site before
did.
the game. Diehards can go check that out. Like, it feels. It feels like it's going to happen.
A Miller 35 with the $5 super chat. As a Spurs fan from Dallas who heard it from Mavs fans while we were bad, it brings me great joy seeing the Mavs in turmoil. What is that?
Ain't no
fun when the rabbit got the gun. Oh wow.
The thing is, the Spurs are so freaking lucky. Y'all were bad for like one season, and you got Wemby out of it.
And low-key almost got Cooper Flagg out of it.
This is about to be 5 years of pain, all right? After this upcoming lottery, the Mavs don't have another first-round pick for 5 years until 2031.
5.
We're going to be wandering the NBA wilderness for a decade. It'll be just like the late 90s all over again. God, I hate the Spurs. But also, thank you all for the super chats.
Appreciate the super chats. Thank you. Bucks, of course, led by Giannis Antetokounmpo. My favorite stat, Bobby, as I was getting ready for tonight's game. So Giannis is averaging 33.8 points per game and 12.3 rebounds. That's first in the league and fifth in the league in terms of points and rebounds. My favorite statistic today, looking up as we were getting ready for tonight. So Giannis is averaging 23.8 points in the paint alone this year. That is 8 points clear of next place in second, who is Nikola Jokic. He's averaging 15 points in the paint. Giannis is averaging 23 of his 33 points in the painted area so far this year. So that just gives you an idea of how well he's been dominating inside the restricted area. The Mavericks and Bucks, of course, first of 2 matchups this year between the two teams. They'll play their final regular season matchup on January 25th in Milwaukee. Last year, the Bucks swept the season series 2-0. In fact, the Bucks scored at least 132 points in each of the 2 matchups. So that gives you an idea of what they were doing.
If they cut that in half tonight, I think they have a chance to win.
Maybe.
But only if they get to half.
Only if they get to half. By the way, that second game that they played last year was back on March 1st. you know what happened in the next game, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shush.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't speak of that.
That's right. Let's get you ready for the rest of tonight's game coming up with our X Factors, who's in and who's out. We'll focus in on our Mavericks player spotlight. But before we welcome in our DLLS Mavs beat writer, Ron Harajun, let's help you win some money when it comes to Prize Picks.
Yeah, I'm going for glory tonight, Kevin.
Let's go.
I'm going for glory. I got Ryan Rollins for more than 10.5 points. Okay. I'm a believer in Ryan Rollins. I don't know if he's going to have a huge game, but I do think he's going to get at least 11 points. PJ Washington, more than 12.5 points.
PJ!
His scoring has actually tailed off these last 3 or 4 games, which is kind of annoying. But I think that PJ is going to have something for Giannis tonight. Also, the Bucks generally, kind of they don't play as extreme a drop anymore the way that they did whenever they had Brook Lopez. But like they'll still give you some threes if you want them. Miles Turner, more than 10.5 points. Again, he's coming home. He's going to do the thing. The big pick of the night, though, and you can do this on Prize Picks.
Okay.
Giannis, more than 4.5 dunks.
Oh, wow. They got dunks as a pick?
8 dunks 2 games in a row.
Wow.
And who's going to stop him tonight? I did see someone shout out Musa Cisse in the chat. Respect. I'm a big Musa Cisse respecter and appreciator. But on Prize Picks, that $5 play would pay $22.50 if you want to play along. Download Prize Picks. Use promo code DLLS. When you deposit at least $5, you will be granted $50 in free plays to use anytime you like on Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
My most fun moment from the game on Saturday night was Musa Cisse baptizing Alex Sarr with that dunk that he had in that game. That was fun. He might get a little of that back tonight when Giannis is in the lane.
Active player, man. But if Giannis is coming at me, I would not blame anybody for getting out of the way.
That's a freight train I'm not trying to get in front of. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not trying to get in front of that. Let's go out to the American Airlines Center and welcome in our DLLS Mavs beat writer, Ron Haraj Jr. He knows sports. You can find him on X at Ron Knows Sports. Ron, what's going on?
How you fellas doing? I'm doing good.
You the 4th referee tonight? What you got going on there? What's your outfit? What you got going on?
Oh yeah, so this is I'm trying to, I'm hoping to get Klay Thompson kind of back activated. So I decided to put the shirt on.
Okay,
nice.
We got that kind of relationship, so I can clown with Ron. We got that kind of relationship. Let's get you ready for tonight's game with who's in, who's out. Before we get to what Jason Kidd had to say prior to tonight's game, let's start with the visiting Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he is available and good to go. He's dealing with patellar tendinopathy. Tell me where you've heard that word before, tendinopathy. Kevin Porter Jr., he's out with that right meniscus tear. Taurean Prince was reported today that he's going to be out for the next several weeks. He's got a herniated disc in his neck. So he's going to be out for quite a while for the Milwaukee Bucks, will Taurean Prince. And for your Mavericks, Anthony Davis not going to be playing tonight. He's out once again, missing his 6th straight game with that left calf strain. We'll get to Ron here in just a second on what Jason Kidd had to say about that prior to tonight's game. Daniel Gafford, available. Yes. Oh, Daniel Gafford, available for tonight's game. That's good.
Indeed.
We like that, don't we, Ron?
Yeah.
Ron's locked in. Ron is locked in. He is locked in, okay?
No, definitely. I saw Daniel Gafford walking around, kind of warming up. He was signing autographs. He seemed to be in high spirits. He is available. Based on what Jason gave me, it feels like he'll still be on a minutes restriction. He didn't just go out there and say that, but when I asked him, has Gafford been improving? He said yes, in his, minute restriction, it's almost, so much he can do. He is going to play tonight, but he kind of wanted to see how he felt after he warmed up. Same with Anthony Davis. He was questionable. I think it was ESPN's Tim McMahon that asked kind of like whose decision kind of is it to play. Jason Kidd says that's a medical staff and Anthony Davis decision, but there's been a lot of reporting out there that Anthony Davis kind of wants to play, and maybe the Mavs have been kind of holding him back for precautionary reasons.
So no Anthony Davis tonight, but Daniel Gafford will be the man in the middle for your Dallas Mavericks. He'll have his hands full. Unfortunately, Derek Lively II will miss his 8th straight game with that right knee sprain, so he continues to be out as he tries to work his way back. Jason Kidd saying last week that they're hoping to get Lively back at some point this week. We will see about that. Kyrie Irving and Dante Exum remain out. When asked about if there was any update on Dante Exum, Jason Kidd said, no, there's no update on Dante Exum, and left it literally at that. There's no update on Dante
decline
Exum.
comment, essentially.
Yes. So
that's good.
Somehow, I think there's sarcasm from what you got to say over there. So that's who's in and who's out. That gets us to what else did Jason Kidd have to say during pregame tonight, Ron?
About the defense, he started talking about the offense. So he said, we can't be happy that the defense is fourth. We'd like our offense to also be fourth. Then he said later on, our offense has to be better. Every time he's asked about the defense and the defense doing good, he brings up the offense. So it just seems like he's extremely upset about kind of how the offense has performed. And to be honest, they've been the worst offense in the NBA, and so he probably should be pretty upset. But anytime the defense has been given praise by media members or ask questions about the media, he deflects and goes straight to the offense. So it seems like if the offense is not going to be even a little bit better, Jason Kidd won't just be satisfied with having a top 5 defense.
Yeah, right now they're 29th in offensive rating. They are 6 points behind 26th and 5 points behind 27th. They are still distantly behind even pretty really bad teams, and that's after playing a very easy strength of schedule. So I agree. Don't think about the defense, J. Kidd. Just focus on the other side of the ball, man.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how good your defense is if you can't score on the other end. And that's exactly what we've seen so far through the first 10 games.
Agreed.
And some folks will say, look, the defensive rating is a function of who they played. I mean, they've played 10 games, won 3. They've played 2 games against the Wizards, 1 against the Raptors, 1 against the Pelicans. So the strength of schedule, not great so far, or as I should say, actually it has been good. They just haven't been able to take advantage of it. And the defense has not been able to, or the offense has not been able to back up what the defense has been doing.
See the starting lineup?
No, I have not. Would you like to tell us?
All right, I'll start with center. Daniel Gafford.
Okay.
Power forward, PJ Washington.
Okay.
Small forward, Cooper Flagg.
Okay.
Shooting guard, Max Christie. And point guard, Brandon Williams.
Oh, wow.
Beehive's in the starting 5.
Oh, wow. Brandon Williams getting the start.
Where's Shaheed Malik? He's got to be fired up for this one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
So we got Brandon Williams, Max Christie, Cooper Flagg, PJ Washington, and Daniel Gafford as your starting 5. Interesting. Okay. Well, Brandon Williams is
very interesting. I saw him warming up.
Yeah.
Brandon Williams is one of the, warming up, he's one of the best 3-point shooters on the team. He's a knockdown shooter. He's the fastest player on the team. I think he was probably better in his other role, but I wouldn't be shocked if he proved me wrong. I mean, he has a lot of skills that this team is desperate to have. And even though he's small in stature, he's playing with every other player as 6'5", 6'6", or taller. So for him, this is kind of the perfect lineup to kind of protect his deficiencies.
And quite frankly, Williams has earned the opportunity. I mean, in the minutes that he's gotten, and he's played well, and he
has had some stinkers.
He's had for sure.
So is D'Lo, though. To be fair, I mean,
exactly. Like when we're putting Russell next to Williams, give me the Beehive. Let's try it. Let's try it and let's see how it works, and go from there. So Brandon Williams gets the start tonight alongside Max Christie, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, and Cooper Flagg.
All right, nobody boo Brandon Williams tonight. All right, like if the Mavs go down, just boo other people. Just don't boo Brandon Williams. He's the official point guard of this podcast.
He is. Speaking of point guards, let's get to our Mavericks player spotlight. Someone who moonlights as a point guard at times, but more so plays at small forward. Let's focus in on Najee Marshall, who off the bench on Saturday night gave the Mavericks 30 points in 31 minutes, 9 of 14 from the field, went 3 of 4 from downtown. How about that? Also gave you 8 rebounds and 3 steals in what was, I think, his all-around best performance in a Mavericks uniform. He did a little bit of everything and led a bench unit that scored 59 points of the 111 that the Mavericks scored on Saturday night. Najee Marshall was a real bright spot for the Mavericks, and they needed everything and then some from Najee to escape the Wizards on Saturday night, Ron.
Yeah, I saw Najee Marshall warming up. He warms up with like a couple of coaches, and there's this like fun thing he does with one of the coaches where like the coach like runs at him and acts like he's guarding him, and Najee's trash talking him, shooting over him. It's one of like the more fun interactions pregame, kind of with the getting the energy up prior to the game. The last like 2 of the last 3 games, and I've got a chance to see Najee Marshall warm up, not including clearly the DC game where I wasn't there. That he's been like with this coach, kind of going at it. and making a lot of shots. And it seems like that's translating to some confidence on the court. I'm not sure if he's done that the whole season, but over the last couple of games, that's something I've kind of just watched kind of him implement into his pregame routine, and it's seeming kind of to get him in that mode for a game. Najee Marshall is an attacker of when he has the ball in his hand. So when he's practicing and kind of practicing aggressiveness, I think it kind of puts him in a different headspace, and maybe he turns into even a different person. Maybe that's how he kind of turns that switch on. So I think Najee Marshall could have another big game. They don't really. I mean, it's hard to score on Giannis if you have Giannis switched on you. But outside of Giannis, I think he has a chance to have another big game off the bench.
That gets us to our X Factors going into tonight's game. Again, tip-off at 7:30 p.m. You can watch the game on KFAA Channel 29. You're going to be watching the game on TV if you're not at the arena. Let's get to X Factor number one. We started to mention it a little bit earlier. Giannis loves to paint. I don't know where I was going to go with that. He loves to be in the paint. Let's just say that.
Okay.
He likes to be in the paint. I was going to try to be like, he likes to paint the basket, but it just didn't come out and feel right as I was going through. So I just abandoned the ship on that one. Yeah, I just let it go. Let it go. He dominates the damn paint. Okay. He's averaging 23 points in the paint. He scores 33 a game. In other words, keep him as much as you can, Daniel Gafford, and the other big available tonight. Try to keep him out of the paint. Easier said than done, because that's what he likes to do. Get downhill, be physical, and score with ease in that painted area.
Here's what I'll say. He's in that paint like a roller. You got to keep that thing off the floor.
I like that. That's
all
good.
Right? So get Giannis in foul trouble. That's your only hope.
I wish you had given me that line earlier. I would have used it. That was good.
It took me a really long time to think about it. So.
That was good, though. I like that. But, yeah, it's that simple. Giannis gets in the paint. He dominates there. Mavs going to have their hands full, for sure.
Also, shout out to anyone. I didn't get a chance to say this earlier. Shout out to anyone that got the Bucks while they were -2.5. Because I bet that line has moved a lot.
Yeah, I bet it's moved a lot. Yeah, for sure. Because yikes. That gets us to
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, no AD. So there's that. That gets us to our second one. The Mavs got to guard the 3-point line. Interestingly enough, the Milwaukee Bucks is your number 3 in the NBA in 3-point shooting. One of only 3 teams shooting over 40% from downtown. You said, Kevin, are they doing it on volume? Yeah, they're actually doing it on volume. In fact, they're shooting 38 attempts a game, which is 13th in the league. So not only are they shooting quite a bit of threes, they're making them run at a pretty good clip. Something that the Mavericks occasionally don't do very well in terms of guarding the 3-point line.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucks are filled with shooters. Jason Kidd actually was asked about that. Like, hey, is Giannis playing to the level he's playing this season? Is the shooting kind of helping that? He kind of said the shooting does help, but it's Giannis. He said he just finds windows kind of to score the basketball. But again, with like the Ryan Rollinses of the world, the Miles Turners of the world, I know Taurean Prince is out, and players like that kind of just filled this roster. They're basically, Giannis is in the dunker spot or the ball handler, and he spread the floor with all shooters. It's like a spread offense in the NFL. They just have found a lot of space for Giannis to work. That's why he's getting so many dunks. That's why he's getting so many rebounds. Giannis is absolutely dominating. He's the best, driver of the basketball, the best paint scorer in the NBA probably over the last 5 years. And that shooting is really, really dangerous. So if they're collapsing on Giannis, and the Mavs have been trapping a lot of players in the post, especially of players of Giannis's caliber, and Giannis is a great passer. If he kicks that ball out and somebody's wide open in the corner, this game could be over very quickly.
Yeah, the Mavs have played a bunch of bad teams with a bunch of bad offenses, and teams are usually bad on offense because they don't have a lot of shooting. This year, teams are only taking 31.8 threes against them, which is third fewest in the league of any teams, and they're only shooting 33% from 3, which is very low. That's a top 6 mark in the league, or bottom 6, depending on your perspective. I don't know that the Mavs have played against a team that have the number and like the green light-ified shooters that the Bucks, like AJ Green, dude. You give him like this much room, he's putting that thing up.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta mind your P's and Q's tonight for sure.
And Kuzma's a streaky shooter as well. There are some nights where
I'll let him shoot. I don't care.
Well, I'm just saying, like, he could be one of those guys that, all of a sudden he has a 0 for night. He could be another guy that has a 5 for 6 night from 3. Like, he's that kind of streaky.
Yeah, he's very
type of shooter.
Well, I'll put it this way. Kyle Kuzma, you did the Mavs one favor before. Can you do another for him tonight?
We'll see.
He contributed to the last finals team we had.
He did.
Can he help the next finals team get the first start down the
road
road to competition? Yeah.
Let's get to the last one. Mavericks got to protect the ball tonight. Milwaukee is 7th in the NBA this year in deflections. You can't give up possessions against this team. Otherwise, you're going to be dealing with a freight train named Giannis Antetokounmpo out in transition. So if you're the Mavericks, you got to protect the ball. Plus, you can't score. So if you're giving away possessions, that means you're not scoring either if you're Dallas. So protect the ball and make sure you give yourself an opportunity to score as many points as you can because you're not doing that so far this year. Ron, appreciate the time. Look forward to seeing you here in a few minutes at the American Airlines Center where the vibes might be a little weird. We'll see here in just a little bit.
Take some pics and vids.
Yeah, for sure.
Of what? I'm just joking. See you all later.
All right, Ron.
That'll do it for us here on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Shout out to our guy RV hanging out with us here on this Monday night, making us look good and sound good. Thank you, sir. Our guy Tanner will be back later on this week once he gets off the beach. Tanner, good gracious.
Of all the weekends to take vacation, dude.
He picked a good one, didn't he?
3 games in 4 days and fire Nico rumors.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out to Tanner. That's our DLLS Mavs analyst, Bobby Curl. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We'll be back here for our DLLS Mavs postgame show about 10, 12 minutes after the final buzzer. Our DLLS Mavs beat writer Ron Harrell Jr. and our national media insider, Mark Stein, will be joining us on the program as well. Mavericks Bucks coming up at 7:30. We'll talk to you postgame right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.